Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tea Stance on Pageantry, where we talk all things pageant related. This is my first ever live, and I'm super excited to be here with all of you. And we're going to be talking about the Miss Universe Philippines 2024 competition. And honestly, it was a really good show, as it always is, because I mean, the Philippines, they know how to put on a pageant. Like, duh. So, we're going to get started. And let's start with obviously the opening. I thought the opening number was fantastic. Like, I love the artist's performance. She was so good, so hype, and just like energetic. And it was a really good way to start off the show. The dance was really upbeat, energetic. I just thought the ladies looked phenomenal. I like that there was like lots of walking and moving around the stage. They really utilized the stage really well. And I thought that the contestants' dresses were really beautiful. That gold fringe dress looked so good on stage. It really sparkled. And I also loved the background images that they had. Like, I think at one point they had a sun and then a crown. And I thought that looked really cool. And that's something I wish that we had here in Cayman, is a proper auditorium or arena that we could host pageants and put on big productions like this and make it really, wow, really invest in that. So I always love seeing when countries have these kind of facilities, because it just makes the production just 10 times better. So let's talk about the top 20. You guys know the top 20 was announced, and I have to say there were like a couple of surprises for me. I have to admit that I did not follow the competition this year as closely as I would have liked to. But yeah, there were a few people that I was like, interesting. This is an interesting pick. I did not think that they would make the top 20, but you know, congrats to everyone who did. In terms of my favorites from Swimsuit, let me just run through the list. I absolutely love Iloilo City. I just think she's gorgeous. I think she's a great body. She did have a little bit of trouble taking off her wrap. Ladies, always remember that the wrap has to come off. So don't tie it too tight. You just want to keep it loose so that you can easily whip it off. And you definitely want to practice it to make sure that it's just like second nature and you don't have any issues. But I thought she had a strong walk. She had some good poses. I love the turn that she did. I thought she was stunning. She was fierce. But, and I think this has been my issue with her all along. And I've only been able to pinpoint it since watching the finals. I think that she is just comes across as hard. Like, I think I would like to see her soften things up. Every time she would pose, I think she was like flexing her muscles, and it was giving me very much bodybuilder vibes. Yeah, bodybuilder vibes. So I don't know, like, I just want her to be a bit more softer. If she ever thinks about recompeting, just soften it down. Yeah, and just like relax a little bit more. And you don't have to flex your muscles so much, because we could see that you tone, girl. We could see your body is fit. So you don't need to like pop those muscles anymore. I also thought Lete did a really good job. She had good attitude. I loved her hair flip. She had a really soft and feminine, energetic, sexy walk, I thought, and her poses were really good. I thought that uh I think it's Tacloban. She had a very good walk. I loved her smile and her facial expressions, although I did think that her transitions needed a little bit of work. Her transitions between her facial expressions need a little bit of work. Um, who else? Pampanga. She was giving me like, I don't know, like 80s or 90s supermodel vibes. I just thought she looked absolutely incredible. Just wow on stage. Quezon Province. Okay, so she was definitely the crowd favorite, and I thought she did incredible. She had a nice smooth walk, and I love the way she turned, and she just made it look really effortless in her swimsuit walk. Cebu was sexy. She had good energy. She was very upbeat, and I really enjoy that for swimsuit. For me, I love when swimsuit walk is very sexy, flirtatious, and upbeat, and just energetic. And I thought she really brought that to the stage. Oh, Baka Orr, I thought she did really good. She's so confident, and I love her facial expressions. She kind of does this thing with her eyes when she looks to the side. I love it. I love that she did that, and I thought that her performance was really good. Northern California also stood out to me. I thought she had a pretty good walk. I loved her sexy facials, and I love the hair flip that she did. When you're on stage, you just gotta work it, and she was definitely working it. Baguio. Oh, I have a soft spot in my heart for Baguio. She's beautiful, but also has like that really cutesy kind of face, and I just think she's so adorable. I love watching her perform, but I thought she was so stunning to look at on stage, and she did a good job with her walk. Although I will say that I noticed in like one of her turns, it seemed like she kind of fell out of her turn. So that's definitely something you want to be careful of, ladies, is when you're practicing those turns, you need to practice coming out of them in a straight line and not falling out of it. Kainta. Oh, her opening facial expression was like piercing into my soul. That is how good it was. I was like, oh, I feel you, girl. I feel you. I thought all the way through, she just had some really, really good facial expressions. And I thought her walk was strong, definitely strong to push her into the next eliminations. I did feel like in like one or two of her turns, she kind of like turned with bent knees. So that's again something you want to work on. You always want to have those knees extended. You don't want to have like bent knees because that's not good. Um Zambales. I thought her first turn was really, really smooth. I like that. She had a great opening facial expression, and boy, does she have legs for days. I feel like she was definitely giving me supermodel vibes. To gig. Oh, to gig. She did a slow reveal with her rap, which I really appreciate and I loved because everyone else was kind of giving us that kind of whip with their rap, but she was kind of giving us a little slow and then whipped it out. It was nicely done and a nice change from the other contestants. I'm just gonna fix my camera here because I feel like it looks a little bit off. Um, what else can I say? I thought that her turns were fluid. She had good posture and good foot control. So definitely a really good job to gig. Now, I will say that Australia, I thought she had a dramatic reveal, a good turn, and definitely gave, that good posture and the supermodel vibes. Bulacan. Bulacan came out and I was just like, wow. I just felt like she made the whole walk look very effortless. It was fierce. She kind of gave us that slow start, which, if I'm not mistaken, is something that Shanice did at Miss Universe, where she sort of started kind of slow and then she amped it up. And I was like, oh, way to slow down time and like really grab our attention and just really go for it. I thought that was perfection. That was strategic. And I love that. I thought she looked sexy walking down the runway and she just looked in control. Like there wasn't anything that was out of place, like no weird arm movements. She didn't fall out of her turn. She wasn't doing any bent knees. She didn't have bad posture. Everything was just really, really controlled, very effortless. It didn't look like she was trying too hard. So overall, she just looked good. Like, and her poses were just sharp and just like, ooh, all of her poses I felt really accentuated her body really well. So whoever's on her team, whoever helped her, hats off to you because you did a really, really good job. Now, talking about the top 10, we had Cebu, Iloilo, Bulacan, Taguig, Bacoor, Pampanga, Quezon Province, Cainta, Zambales, and Baguio. One note I do want to make is that when they were doing I think they were asking them some questions. And I absolutely loved that Cainta. She was asked a question about to like tell us your darkest secret or something like that, or a secret that you have. And honestly, I feel like this is the type of question that would have stumped a lot of contestants, but she did not let that stump her. I have to give her kudos because she came up with a really funny and yet interesting answer, and it was memorable because like I loved it. I was like, this is funny, this is a good answer, because it's like I feel like that kind of question would have just stumped someone, and she didn't let it stump her. She really pulled something out of the bag, and I was like, you ready for this, girl? You are ready for this competition. Now I will say that the evening gown segment, Ilo, I love her, but that green gown was not my favorite for her. I think it was like I like the cutout on the side. I like the high slit. I'm a sucker for a high slit. I thought that looked really good, that part. But I think what was throwing it off was that it was off the shoulder and one side had a sleeve. I could have just done without the sleeve, to be honest. And yeah, like I could have just done without a sleeve. And again, I want her to soften and be more, just give us more demure, more coyness, more like reservedness. I almost feel, because I feel like she came across as very hard. She was giving us that, even though the poses were good, it was just a bit much, I think, from her because of how like built she is. Because I think she just keeps like tensing her muscles up to me. So I felt like we really needed to see like a different side of her. And I think that that could have been what was holding her back from moving forward. Bula Khan, girl, where did you come out from? Because she came out and it was like the heavens opened up, and here is an angel. She looked amazing. She was like floating on that stage. She gave us, again, a slow, sexy walk. It was very mesmerizing. And I was in love. I was like, oh my God, her face was just so stunning. She looked like such a queen already. I was just like, she was surprising me because, like, even though I didn't really watch the competition all the way through, like I saw certain things, but I did not keep up with the competition all the way through. She was always kind of on my edge. Like I noticed her, but not enough to like keep putting her in my videos and stuff. So when she came out, and I was just like, whoa, dark horse for me at least. Dark horse. I did not see this come in. Like, wow, girl, you are killing it. You are slaying it. And I love a dark horse. Love a dark horse. To gig. I thought she looked really beautiful, and she did a really good opening turn. And I love her posing, especially that final pose at the end where she leaned back. I thought that was really well done. You could tell she was feeling herself, and we were feeling her. Baka Or. Now I have to say, when she first came out, I was not for this dress. But when we got a little closer, I looked at it, I was like, okay, I see the beauty. I see the beauty in this dress. It made her look very statuesque, especially since she had her hair up in a bun, and then there was like a high neckline. All very nice. I thought it was strategic that they made her wear that. Like I thought she looked really good. Um, I like the red on her, and I thought her walk was solid. It was a solid walk, and again, her facial expressions with her signature side eyes, I thought that looked really good on her, and I thought she did a good job. Um, Pampanga, I loved her opening facial. This girl in her face, oh, she's such a unique beauty. I think she's so unique. I thought that she looked good in her gown, but one thing was that while she was walking, I thought that it seemed like there was something, I don't know, something going on with the dress where she was lifting her leg really high. So it was kind of like distracting. That was something that I noticed, and it kind of just distracted me the whole way through. But I thought she looks gorgeous, and she did a really good job. Um, Quezon Province. I loved her in this red, and I thought she did a good job with it. But I don't know. The dress was okay, but I think I wanted something more from her, something different, something else. I don't know. I don't know what I wanted from her, but I just wanted something more. I don't think I was that much of a big fan of this particular dress for her. Um, and she was a crowd favorite. She really was. And I think she did good with what she had on. I thought her walk was good. She definitely owned the stage. She had a lot of presence there. And one thing I will say is that she absolutely nailed that final pose where she would like lean back. Oh, that right there. That alone would have made me put her into the top 5 because that was a pose. That was a really, really good pose. Kainta, again, oh my gosh, it's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. I love this fitted gown on her. I love that she wore her hair in a bun. But what I love most of all was her facial expressions, y'all. Y'all, she was killing it with the fierce face. She would do this thing where she would look away from the audience and then look back and give them this really fierce face to die for. To die for. She was working it. And the audience was going nuts every time she did that because it was so, so good. Baguette. Oh, my Baguette. She's so adorable. She really sauntered down that runway, very sexy. I loved her poses. I thought she had a gorgeous smile at the end, but I felt like the crowd was not feeling her. And I don't know, maybe it was because her gown, I feel like it was kind of a safe choice. There wasn't anything that I think she could have gone with a more, I guess, a more edgy look, I think. I think that that would have helped send her over the edge is if she went for a more edgy, sexier look. Cause like I do think she has a youthful face. And I think the gown that she wore, it didn't age her up. It didn't give her any more like oomph, and I think she really needed that oomph. So I think that was something that potentially may have held her back a little bit from placing higher. Now we get into the final question and answer portion. And I'm going to talk just a little bit about their questions. So they all got different questions this year, and it was, well, I think they all got different questions last year as well, which is okay. I'm not a fan of that. I am a fan of giving everybody one question, making them all do the headphone thing so that, we can really assess who did the absolute best. Just saying. So Quezon Province went first, and her question was, women learn from each other. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from another woman, and how did it improve your life? So her answer was, my grandmother put me through school, and the biggest lesson I have learned from her is to always be kind. She is someone who has a big heart and took care of me since I was a kid. And I do think my grandmother is someone I can look up to, someone who is an embodiment of what a great woman is. Now, you guys, that is a beautiful answer. It's a sweet answer, and I'm glad that she has a wonderful grandmother. But this answer, I would put it in the same box as if someone had said, my mother is someone I look up to. Again, it is something that we have heard time and time and time again. And I just think it doesn't work anymore. And so when I coach my clients, I'm always cognizant to tell them like we, you know, most people, most people do have a loving mother, a loving grandmother. But when we are talking about this kind of question, we want to move away from mom or grandma. We want to figure out, who in the world, who out there from maybe historical figures or political figures or just influential people, who do you admire and why? And the reason why I suggest that as an avenue for a better answer is because that is someone that other people can relate to. Your mom is not someone necessarily that we can relate to because we don't really know your mom or your grandma. So while it is personal to you that she's done so much for your life and you are, thanking her for everything she's done, it's not necessarily the best answer, especially because we've heard the answer so many times. And most times, the reasoning why people are choosing that answer is because the reason they're giving for why they're choosing their mom or their grandma is very generic stuff. It's not things that truly impact the community or even the country or the world. You know what I mean? So it's like my grandmother was kind. A lot of grandmas are kind. So we can say a lot of the same things. So what is it that truly makes this individual distinctive and stand out? What makes them impactful? You see what I'm saying? So that's just something to bear in mind. So the next person was me just see here. Bagel. And her question was, what is your breakthrough or achievement and how did it improve you as a person? She said, being here in this prestigious pageant for the Miss Universe Philippines 2024 is my greatest achievement. The Tara before is someone who really limits herself or themselves when it comes to her achievements. And when I stop here in the Miss Universe Philippines and I see the transformation and improvement and how I was able to become an inspirational woman that I am now. And that is something I will be proud of after this journey. So for me, this wasn't a particularly strong answer because it doesn't really tell us anything about her outside of the context of pageantry. So we got to remember that the judges are trying to learn more about you as a person. And yes, you're competing in a pageant, and maybe you've competed in many pageants, but they want to know who are you outside of competing in pageants, outside of the context of pageantry. Who are you? What do you aspire to? What are your values? Who do you look up to? Those kind of things. So really saying this is it's not going to do you any favors with a judge, especially an experienced judge, and I could also tell that she seems so nervous. So that is again another thing that you have to be careful is not just what you say, but how you say it. Kainta was next, and her question was, women have admired you all throughout your life. Tell us about how you have inspired another woman. And she said, I've been told many times that I'm too short to join a beauty pageant. But now I realize that pageants are a reflection of that very nation. And tonight, I am not only representing myself, but every Filipina woman who sees themselves in me. I hope to inspire every Filipina that just like the universe, we too are limitless. And I thought the way that she ended that right there was what saved that answer. She ended on a really uplifting, memorable, and quotable note. So take lessons here. This is how you wrap up. This was a good answer overall. The only part of this that I would say let's stray away from is the part where she talks about being a representation for all Filipino women, because I feel like we've heard it a lot of times before in pageantry. So I would just try to stay away from the cliche answers or the cliche remarks. Then we have Bulacan, and her question was, you are beautiful and confident. How would you use these qualities to empower others? And she said, I am a woman of color. I've always faced challenges in my life. I was told that that beauty has standards, actually, but for me, I've listened to and always believed in my mother to always believe in yourself and uphold the values that you have for yourself, because of these, I am already influencing a lot of women who are facing me right now as a transformational leader. I have I have here 52 other delegates with me that help me to become the woman that I am. I love this answer. She made it personal. I thought that it was a really uplifting message. I think that, as a woman of color and other women of color watching this, they would have felt inspired by her. I do believe that she is the first Black woman to be crowned Miss Universe Philippines. So that is an achievement in and of itself. That's absolutely incredible. But yeah, this is an answer that, again, is memorable because she made it very personal to herself. And I like that she also threw in transformational leadership. Remember, the Miss Universe organization is all about finding that transformational leader. The last person to answer her question was Tigig. And she said, what's the biggest challenge you face as a Filipino woman, and what do you do to hurdle the challenge? And she said, I think one of the biggest challenges of Filipinas face today are being limited by being shadowed by, unfortunately, men in society. But I think my platform and me standing up here today, I can encourage women that you can stand up, you can be strong, you can be powerful, and you can own your destiny like I plan to tonight. And I thought that this was an okay answer. Um, I really wish that she had just given a bit more of a nod to her platform, because she mentioned it, but she didn't tell us what the platform was. And for someone like me and probably others who may not be too familiar with her as a contestant, because there's so many of the contestants this year, we may not know what her platform is. So you never want to assume people know. You want to tell them, give them a reminder that, hey, I do X, Y, and Z. And here's how it's benefited other people. So I think that if she had just like mentioned that, that is what would have sent her question over the edge. It would have just given her a few more marks, I think. So, as we know, the results were fourth runner up to gig, which honestly, from my perspective, like if I were judging, um, here's what I thought. I thought that fourth runner up was going to be Baguio. Third runner up was going to be Quezon Province. Second runner up was going to be to gig. And first runner up was going to be Kainta, sorry, and the winner, Bulacan. But how it actually went was fourth runner up to gig, third runner up Baguio, second runner up Quezon Province, first runner up Kainta, and the winner was Bulacan. So those are my thoughts. I'm very curious to hear what you guys thought about the overall show. What are some people saying now that it's all said and done? I know that Quezon Province was she was a fan favorite. She really was a standout. I honestly absolutely loved her from beginning to end throughout the whole journey. And she was definitely high up on my list as well. But I think that sometimes you can do all of the right things. I don't think that she did anything wrong, right? I do think that sometimes in pageantry, there are just people who outperform you. And it's just sometimes you have a better sometimes people just have a better performance. They have a better night, you know? And I think that's what it was with this competition is Bulacan just came out of the cut. I don't really think a lot of people had her. I mean, I didn't see a lot of predictions, so I shouldn't say that. But comment down below if you guys saw predictions from other bloggers who maybe predicted that Bulacan would have been in the top 5 or would have even won. I think a lot of people had their money set on Quezon Province, like she was going to win the whole thing. And honestly, I thought so too until I saw the way it was going, and I was like, mm, Quezon Province, I don't know. She's not giving me everything I want from her. She really wasn't. So then you had Bulacan who just came out the cut. No, I had no idea. Just wow. She came, she saw, she conquered. I'm very happy for her. Congratulations, girl. Congrats on being the first Black woman to be crowned Miss Universe Philippines. That is a huge accomplishment. You should be so, so proud of yourself. I'm looking forward to seeing her compete at Miss Universe. I definitely think she has a shot of going very far in the competition. But of course, we'll have to wait to see how well she does in Mexico. All right, guys, that is all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to hear your comments. Please comment down below what your thoughts are on this year's competition. Who did you think was going to win? Did you agree with the results? Did you not? What's your take? Leave it all down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, have a great day.